Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we've got part 3 of the Grand Hauler log lorry build. Alright, so in the last episode we actually finished doing the painting, and now it's actually time to move on to building the log carrier itself. I will apologise now for the first few clips may seem a little bit out for the fact that for some strange reason I have lost all audio from the clip, so I'm having to do this as a voiceover. So I'm going to try my best at transcribing what I was originally saying. So what I've done is I've picked up some brass strips from B&Q. What I've picked up is some angle iron, some flat bar, and also some L pieces, with the hopes to use the flat bar to make a subframe for on the chassis, to use the angle iron as the crossbars, and the U-shape to make the uprights. So hopefully all of this will go together nicely. I did originally buy some steel rod to make the headache rack, but I've decided, you know what, that's going to be more of a pain in the ass to do. So how I'm going to assemble this all together is by using solder and flux, as it should come together quite nicely. And I'm hoping in the video clips you will see what I mean by how I want to get it all laid out. So I think enough talking, because I really don't know how to do this voiceover, and let's get to a time-lapse build mode. Let's get to it.
Come down here.
It's pouring! You come up!
No, you have to come down here.
Why?
Because I made it rain. That's what I did today.
So I kind of already messed it up. I've realised I should have actually left the subframe a little bit longer so it extended past the fuel tanks, so the headache rack could be added on to make it all as one unit. But I really didn't think about that until after I had cut the bits. But I did manage to figure out the spacing for the log holder frames just perfectly enough so I can still fit my battery in between the frame rails. So I'm gonna have a little bit of a think about it, and I'll get back to you. So I had a little bit of a think about it. What I'm going to do is get more of this bar, but this bar, which I've got in my hand, left over a bit from doing that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little section which fits in between the fuel tank mount, and then when I get the longer bar so I can do the full length, what that will do is it will sit on top of these two bars, so double layering it. So I'll put a bead of solder down the centre of it. So what that would do would actually add extra strength to it, and it will cover the fuck up, give it a little bit more clearance, and I feel like that should solve the issue I'm having. It'll extend it out a little bit more, and then I just need to solder these on. Right, so I've got most of the cross beams cut. So next thing is trying to decide the height. Looking at reference photos and everything, it seems to be a bit taller above the stacks. So about here. But for me that may be a little bit too tall. So I'm thinking maybe doing it maybe about stack height or just a little bit above. So what I've done is I've got I've got leftover offcut bar, which I'm now resting on top of the other bars, and then resting the L bracket. So that should bring it up to final height. And then looking at it from final height, 20 centimeters or about 8 inches is about there, and the stacks sit about 18 inches or so, no, 18 centimeters or so, so about 7 inches. So it's whether or not I do 18 or 20, or I could just meet in the middle and do 19 in, or do 19 centimeter long lengths, which, to be honest, I think 19 sounds about right when you adding an extra, little bit on top due to the lift of these. Right, so I've got all the U-channel bits cut. All I need to do is sand and make sure they're all the right length, and I think I'm going to add a slight angle to the top of these. Hey guys, welcome back. So for you that may have been like maybe 1 or 2 seconds, but for me this has been a couple days. I finally decided to go and get some more brass. So we've got another bit of view channel and we've got another bar. So to reiterate and probably to go over something I've recently just said to you guys, I am planning to double stack these, so with the bars I've already got on. So I say let's get to it before it's too late, because it's fucking maybe like 30 degrees outside just now and it's around about 9 o'clock at night. So let's get this, well, it's just before 9 o'clock, so I want to get this cut done before 9, so I don't get neighbours pissed off with me. So let's go. So the add-on frame rails have been made. These were more of a fucking pain in the arse to make than I thought. I thought, oh, how hard is it to try and solder one long bit of metal? Well, this is the nice one, where I think it's only got like a slight bend in it, which, to be honest, when it's bolted down, should be fine. I can focus. And this was the first one I did. The second one, big blob of solder sticking out the sides. Yeah, that's fine, I can file it. But there's a gap in it about here, and then the end is like soldered perfectly, which is a pain in the arse because you try and keep running the heat and the solder up it this way to join it, and then all of a sudden it separates a bit further down once this end goes flat. So you're continuously heating it, continuously trying to compress it, even using pliers to try and hold it and do it. But yeah, that is as best as I can possibly do at 11 o'clock at night. And to be honest, if it sits flat enough on the frame rails, I think around about this point here anyways is going to be over. It's going to be over where the axles sit, so it shouldn't be too bad, I'm hoping. So let's test it. Let's bring the lorry back into frame. I've got to get one screw off the fuel tank. So how it's going to be held on is by the screw holes where the hitch should be, and 2 screw holes by where the fuel tanks sit. And this one should fit absolutely perfectly. I just need to trim that end back down. This one may be a tighter fit. Yep, this one needs a slight filing out in the gap, but it sits on the frame. It's a little bit wonk, but to be honest, you probably would not notice. To be honest, you probably wouldn't notice once it's got logs and stuff on it. With all the U's on, it kind of looks straight, so it should be good enough. So I think that's enough for today. I'll solder this all up on it tomorrow. So for you, that will be in a couple of seconds, but for me, that will be after work. So catch you later.
Still listening, I wish you a good night and sweet dreams.
Lovely.
So most of it's soldered up, and it was a pain in the arse to solder up. So you'll probably see in the video footage I jumped between doing a lot, because let's see if I was getting a little bit too frustrated trying to do it. Next thing you probably saw me start doing was welding up or brazing up a headache rack, which I've ended up making it a little bit too tall and a little bit too narrow. But I'm just going to go ahead with it anyways. So I'm going to cut it down to size and then put it on a extra plate here. Probably bring it down to about exhaust stack height. And it should be good. So I also dug through my offcuts bin and found a bunch more brass, copper, I don't know, parts, which hopefully instead of going out and buying more, I can try and make a design out of them. And then I've also got some aluminium, whatever, mesh, which to be honest the camera and YouTube's probably going to hate trying to render. So I think time-lapse time again. Cut it down, see what design I can make out of what material I have left. Let's go. So we are done. Well, technically we've actually ran out of time, but yeah, this has taken me 2 weeks to build the log rack on the back, and I am happy with probably about 50% of it. I'm happy with all the U-bars on the back, but the headache rack I'm not 100% happy with. Personally, I think it actually, now once it's all together, it looks like it sits way too tall. It should have probably been about this height, just enough to cover the cab. I have no idea why I decided to do it exhaust height, but yeah. So I'm going to do a little bit more off camera. There's not really enough stuff to film a full video worth now. It's mainly painting this all up, but I want to get it sandblasted first. I also need to hunt for all the little accessories for on the roof, the lenses for the front bumper and the lights here. I do also have somewhere, wherever it's gone, a light kit for it. This also needs to go on, and a battery tray to be made. I know I keep going on about that, but I've not actually had the time to get around to it. And a hunt for some logs, which will fit. This is going to be even more stupid because once I put logs on, I can no longer get my battery pack out. So where my battery pack will be going is in between these two loops here, and it snug fits between the frame rail. It sits a lot lower, but I haven't put a floor in it yet. So I'm going to put a bit of sheet metal just underneath, and then the two battery plugs come in and plug from underneath, which is hidden by the fuel tank. So I'm happy with it for the time being. Because, like I said, it's taken me 2 weeks to do it, and it's taken me considerably longer to edit this video. And I want to try and keep it under 45 minutes. Really, all I've got left to say is like, comment, subscribe. So keep an eye out on the channel, because I've done 2 more stupid purchases, which will be needing converted. So this is the first one. Very self-explanatory why I bought this one, and here's the second one. So yeah, so if you're interested in this style of building videos, let me know, because I want to make sure it's worth my time filming and editing all of this, because trying to film everything adds so much more time to actually being able to build it. I could have really knocked this out in a couple of days if I weren't trying to film every single step. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.